Number 3. The ocean is the most honest thing on Earth. It doesn't pretend to be safe. It doesn't hide what it is. It is simply vast, dark, and indifferent to whether you live or die inside it. You are in the water now, and something already knows you're here. The year is approximately 15 million BC. The ocean covering this part of the Earth looks identical to the one you know. Same color, same sound, same salt on your lips. But the food chain you understood your entire life doesn't exist here. At the top of it, something has been perfecting the art of hunting for over 20 million years. Its name is Otodus Megalodon, and it is not a shark in the way you understand sharks. A modern great white shark reaches 6 meters. Megalodon reached 18 meters, possibly more. Its jaws opened wide enough to swallow a small car whole. Each tooth and it had hundreds of them across multiple rows measured up to 18 centimeters long, serrated, curved, designed by millions of years of evolution for a single purpose, to cut through bone like it wasn't there. Here is what the science tells you about how Megalodon hunted, and none of it is comforting. Fossil evidence analyzed by researchers at the University of Zurich in 2022 shows that Megalodon maintained a body temperature significantly warmer than the surrounding ocean, a biological trait called regional endothermy. Megalodon is not a cold, slow, ambush predator waiting for prey to stumble into it. It is fast, metabolically supercharged, and actively pursuing. Let's be precise about your situation right now. You are in open water. You have no boat within reach. The nearest land is 2 kilometers away. The water temperature is 24 degrees. Conditions that feel survivable. Conditions that feel almost pleasant. But Megalodon's lateral line, a sensory organ running the full length of its body, detects pressure changes in the water. Every movement you make, every kick of your legs, every panicked heartbeat sends vibrations radiating outward through the ocean. You have been announcing your presence since the moment you entered the water. The lateral line doesn't just detect movement. It detects irregularity, panic, injury, the specific frequency of a struggling animal. Every survival instinct you have right now is telling you to swim fast, to thrash toward shore. Every piece of evidence about how Megalodon hunted tells you that is exactly the wrong thing to do. Slow movements, controlled breathing. Don't splash. You already splashed. You feel it before you see it. A pressure change. A displacement of water so massive it pushes against your entire body simultaneously. Not a wave, not a current, something moving beneath you at speed. Then the water changes color. Not dramatically, just slightly. A darkening below you that your brain refuses to process correctly because the thing creating that shadow cannot be that large, cannot be that close, cannot be moving that fast toward the surface. Its jaw doesn't snap shut the way a smaller shark's does. It doesn't need to. At this size, the jaw simply opens 2 meters wide, 2.7 meters tall, and the water pressure it creates pulls everything nearby inward. You don't swim into a Megalodon's mouth. The ocean delivers you there. Megalodon went extinct approximately 3.6 million years ago. The leading hypothesis, published by researchers at the University of California in 2024, suggests that the cooling of the oceans and the decline of large whale populations it depended on for food drove it to extinction. It did not go gently. Fossil evidence shows Megalodon hunting grounds spanning every ocean on the planet for over 20 million years. It was not a failed experiment. It was the most successful apex predator in the history of the ocean. What unsettles scientists most isn't that Megalodon existed, it's how recently it didn't. 3.6 million years ago is nothing in geological time. The ancestors of modern humans were already walking upright when Megalodon swam its last patrol of the ocean. Our species and the largest predator in Earth's history were alive on the same planet, separated not by deep time, but by a margin that, in geological terms, barely exists. The ocean has not forgotten Megalodon. We have explored less than 20% of the Earth's oceans. The deepest trenches remain uncharted, unknown. We have never found a living Megalodon, but absence of evidence is not evidence of absence in 80% of unexplored ocean. Number 2. There is a particular kind of fear that humans have carried in their bones since before language existed, before cities, before fire was controlled rather than fled from. It is the fear of being watched from somewhere you cannot see, of knowing, with every primitive instinct you possess, that something in the darkness is already calculating the distance between itself and you. You are standing in a forest now. The trees are enormous. The light barely reaches the ground, and somewhere in the shadows ahead of you, something has been watching you for the last 4 minutes. It hasn't moved yet. It doesn't need to. The year is approximately 10,000 BC. The last ice age is retreating. The world is warming, but the forests of North and South America are still vast, still dark, still ruled by predators that evolution has been refining for millions of years. The one watching you right now has been refined longer than most. Smilodon fatalis, the saber-toothed cat. And everything you think you know about it is wrong. Popular imagination gave Smilodon the wrong story. It is not a cheetah with oversized teeth. It is not built for speed. Fossil evidence from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, where over 2,000 Smilodon individuals have been recovered, tells a different story entirely. Its forelimbs were 30% more massive than a modern lion's proportionally. Its lumbar spine was reinforced to absorb impact. Its shoulders were built for explosive downward force. Smilodon was not designed to chase you across open ground. It was designed to be already on top of you before you knew it was there. You have stopped moving. Good instinct. Every predator in this forest responds to movement. What you don't know, what you couldn't know, is that Smilodon's vision is optimized for low-light conditions. The darkness you thought was protecting you is the environment it was built for. It can see you perfectly. You cannot see it at all. Let me tell you exactly what Smilodon is doing right now, because understanding it is the only advantage you have. It is not hungry in the way you experience hunger. It is not acting on impulse. Fossil evidence from bite mark analysis published in the journal Quaternary Science Reviews shows that Smilodon hunted in coordinated groups a social predator more similar to wolves than to solitary big cats. Which means the one you can see is not the only one here. The others are already behind you. Social hunting in Smilodon explains something that puzzled paleontologists for decades. La Brea tar pit fossils show a disproportionate number of Smilodon individuals with healed injuries, broken bones that knitted back together over months of recovery. A solitary predator with a debilitating injury starves. A pack predator gets fed by the group while it heals. These animals took care of each other. They were intelligent enough to understand that the pack's survival depended on the individual's recovery. That intelligence is now being applied entirely to the problem of you. Your instinct is telling you to run. It has been screaming at you for the last 30 seconds. And your instinct is wrong. If you run, it closes the distance before you take 10 steps. If you stand still, it eventually decides you are prey and attacks anyway. There is no correct response to this situation. There never was. It moves before you finish the thought, not the one in front of you. The one you couldn't see. The one that had been working its way around your left side for the last 2 minutes while you were focused on the eyes in the darkness ahead. The impact is not what you expected. It doesn't feel like an attack. It feels like a wall of muscle hitting you from the side at full speed. The ground comes up fast. And then 280 kilograms of Smilodon is on top of you, and the weight alone makes breathing impossible. The saber teeth don't slash. They position, precisely, purposefully, at your throat. Smilodon could not bite down with them like a modern lion bites. The teeth would shatter. Instead, biomechanical analysis shows it used its powerful neck muscles to drive the teeth downward in a precise stabbing motion, like a biological dagger, aimed, deliberate, one precise strike to a specific anatomical target. It had to get the first strike right. It always did. Smilodon went extinct approximately 10,000 years ago. The leading hypothesis connects its disappearance to the collapse of the megafauna it depended on: the mammoths, giant ground sloths, and prehistoric horses that vanished at the end of the last ice age. The forest is quiet now, has been for 10,000 years, but the instinct remains. Because somewhere below conscious thought, something in you still remembers what used to live in the dark between the trees. Number 1. There is one fear older than the fear of the dark, older than the fear of the predator in the shadows, older than the fear of the ocean's depth. It is the fear of the sky. You are standing in open grassland now. The sky above you is enormous, vast, blue, and indifferent, and something up there has already seen you. The year is approximately 6 million BC. The grasslands of what will become South America stretch to every horizon. The Andes are younger and lower. The Pampas are vast and ancient and alive with prey animals that have never learned to look up. You have made that mistake too. Argentavis magnificens, the largest flying bird in Earth's history, and it is already descending. The numbers require a moment to absorb. Argentavis had a wingspan of 7 meters. For comparison, a modern condor, already the largest flying bird alive today, reaches 3.3 meters. Argentavis was more than double that. Its body mass reached an estimated 70 to 80 kilograms. Its individual primary feathers were the size of a grown man's arm. Argentavis was too heavy for sustained flapping flight. Instead, it used thermal columns, rising columns of warm air, to soar at altitudes exceeding 3,000 meters, covering distances of up to 200 kilometers per day without a single wing beat. This means it spent its existence looking down at the world from 3,000 meters, patient, scanning, waiting for the thermal to carry it where prey had been sighted. You were sighted some time ago. Your situation on open ground is specific and unforgiving. Let me explain why. Argentavis, based on talon structure analysis compared to modern birds of prey, was almost certainly a predator rather than a pure scavenger. Its feet show curvature and grip strength consistent with seizing and carrying prey. Its hooked beak was designed for tearing flesh from large carcasses or from animals it brought down itself. The open grassland you are standing in has no trees within running distance, no rock formations, no shelter of any kind. You are the most visible object for kilometers in every direction, and the thermal column directly above you has been carrying something downward for the last 3 minutes. You would not hear it coming. Wind noise at that descent speed masks the sound of wings. The shadow moves across the ground faster than your eye can track it. By the time the shadow reaches you, the creature casting it is already too close. The impact comes from above and slightly behind. The talons don't slash, they close. Around your shoulders, around the physics of your situation. Argentavis doesn't fight on the ground if it can avoid it. Ground contact is vulnerability for a creature built for sky. Its strategy, reconstructed from comparative predator biomechanics, was likely to strike, grip, and immediately return to altitude, carrying prey upward before it can struggle effectively. Argentavis went extinct approximately 6 million years ago. The precise cause remains debated. The cooling and drying of South American grasslands reduced the large prey animals it depended on. The thermal columns that made its soaring flight possible may have weakened as the climate shifted. It left no direct descendants. The condors we watch soaring today are its pale echo half the wingspan, a fraction of the mass, a ghost of the scale. But the fear it created didn't leave with it. Despite all the encounters, you survived. Technically, Megalodon let the ocean deliver you. Smilodon let the darkness swallow you. Argentavis let the altitude decide. And yet here you are. But survival isn't the point. The point is this: every creature on this list is gone, extinct, erased by time and climate and the indifferent arithmetic of evolution. And in their absence, something smaller, slower, and significantly less. Equipped took over the planet. You did. The world that built these creatures also built you. The same pressures, the same indifferent selection, the same ancient arithmetic of survival. You weren't faster than Smilodon. You couldn't sense pressure changes like Megalodon. You couldn't see from altitude like Argentavis. You had none of their advantages. What you had was stranger than any of that. You remembered. You communicated the memory. You passed the warning forward through time so that the next generation knew what lived in the dark before they walked into it. That is the only reason you exist today. Not strength, not speed, not biological weaponry. Story: 3 creatures. 3 different ways the prehistoric world had engineered your death. All of them gone. All of them, except the ocean. The ocean remains exactly as deep, exactly as dark, exactly as unexplored as it was when Megalodon owned it. 80% of it has never been seen by human eyes. The deepest trenches have never been fully mapped.